Hello, I'm Callum Dilietto, and this is the Flock Together podcast in partnership with Destination St John's. We're here today at Shangri-La, the Shard, London, and I'm joined by Poppy. Hello.
Hello, Callum. How are you?
I'm good. We met. You kind of became a member of the Flock community early on by joining us on a trip to Abu Dhabi and Dubai.
Indeed, it was a great trip, wasn't it?
It was, and I feel like there was a funny moment where the group was split into lots of different activities, and we were the only two of our group that decided to do the Warner Brothers studio experience.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that was absolutely great, wasn't it? Yeah. We're like little kids again, weren't we? We live in our childhood.
Just running around, taking pictures. And be like, oh, look, let's do a Superman picture. Oh, Batman picture. It was fun.
The best was when the coach was like, where's Callum and Poppy? We're like, oh, just one more ride, please,
Yeah.
one more.
We didn't get enough time there. I feel like
No.
if we had it our way, we would have been there for another 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, absolutely. I think we should go back, to be honest, and just relive it. So.
So the first part of the podcast is Remember, and I would like to know, what was your first ever work trip?
First ever work trip. So many moons ago, when I first worked at DRPG, my first incentive was actually to Dominican Republic. So it was an absolute great start to the incentive world.
That's a great
I know.
start.
I thought, wow, is this what the event industry is like? So it was a great experience. We took 130 people to Dominican Republic. There was 4 of us on the trip from DRPG. And wow, it was an experience. So from the start of the airport, all 130 people on the plane got very, very drunk. So trying to control 130 people on a plane was, wow, it was eventful. So the actual air hostess was saying, like, if you don't calm these people down, we're literally going to have to land at the nearest airport. I thought, blooming hell, is this what the group's going to be like for the 4 days? Turned out they were a mad group. So yeah, that was a great start to my first incentive. But yeah, it was incredible. So we stayed in a 5-star resort. We did a full incentive package for them. So we took them on a boat trip. We took them on nights out, gala dinners. And that was just a great eye-opener to what the industry was like and kind of what we can do for clients in terms of bespoke packages, taking them to Dominican Republic. You world your horizon. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but you could take them absolutely anywhere and put a package on anywhere in the world. So yeah, that was a real great start to the industry.
That's
so
hilarious.
One to top, certainly.
Yeah.
So
They were clearly so excited about going to the destination, which shows that your pre-comms has done well. But for over 100 people to be getting very, very excitedly drunk on the plane is a challenge.
Especially with BA as well, the drinks just keep coming and coming, don't they? So yeah, that was a good and eventful trip, to say at least. So
I don't really often drink on a plane. I'm more of I want to sleep. But I've got friends that are like, as soon as they sit in their seat, they're like, right, come on, bring
let's
it
get
out.
drinking. Yeah.
It's really one or the other. What are you?
It depends who I'm with, to be honest. Work trips, maybe 1 or 2, just to kind of get excited, start looking at my project plans, a bit of a geek when I'm on the flight. When it comes to my own trips, personal trips, I will sleep majority of the time, or just stick on Harry Potter and watch all 3 on a long haul flight. So yeah, it depends who I'm with, to be honest. But the flight back, we all know that headphones are in and don't speak.
Don't speak to me.
Yeah, don't speak.
What was your last work trip?
So my last one was, we went to Dublin, actually, one of my favourite places, Love Island, and we took 70 people on a conference, and we went to the typical places, so the Guinness factory. The Europeans absolutely love Guinness, don't they, and obviously the Brits, so taking them there was an absolute experience. And it was great to kind of get into the culture as well, so going to the Irish bars and kind of putting on a full incentive for them. So no, that was a great trip, although it rained the whole time. So compared to Dominican, a little bit different spectrums. But yeah, every time I go to Ireland, I get this warm buzz, and I feel like a sense of I'm at home when I'm in Ireland as well. And it's one of those places you fly in, and you've been to Ireland quite a few times now, haven't you? That you fly in and it's just green everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous. Whereas, you come to London Heathrow, skyscraper. So it's nice to see the countryside, but also what Dublin has got to offer as well.
It is beautiful, and it's funny because there is literally an Irish pub in every country or across the world. Some of them more authentic than others. I went to one in Istanbul that was basically just a shisha lounge with some green walls. But when you go to Ireland and you go to an Irish pub in Ireland, it's an unmatched experience.
Doesn't top it, does it?
Just cannot be beaten.
Yeah, I was in Malaysia and actually it was just like the most random place. And we saw an Irish bar and I was like, they're everywhere. Everywhere you go in the world, there's an Irish bar and Irish music.
Yeah. It's so funny to see the different takes on it.
Yeah.
The next part of the podcast is revisit. So if you could go back in time and relive a destination experience, what would it be?
So again, this was probably about 3 to 4 years ago now. So kind of my early start in the industry. We took 2 trips to Slovenia. So we did a back-to-back. At the time, it was so stressful because delivering 2 different groups, 100 people on each group, back-to-back, it was just, there was a lot of delegate management to do, as you can imagine. But Slovenia, it was one of those places that I thought I'd never go to personally. Like, I'm not sure what it has to offer. And we started to do the agenda and the itinerary. And, there's so much there to offer, like going to Ljubija, going down the caves, Lake Bled. And we got there, and again, a bit like Dublin, everywhere you go, it's countryside and lakes, and it just really surprised me. I was like, I can't believe how beautiful this place is, and it's not really spoke about or well known. So I think whenever I'm doing proposals, I always try and say to people, Slovenia is such a good place to visit, and it's very reasonable as well compared to some places in Europe. So I'd probably say that's one of my favourite locations, which is quite niche. Comparing to some of the places I've been, obviously like Dubai and things like that, but I don't know, it's got so much to offer and so many activities there as well, and the food and the drinks, it's just a lovely place to go, so I'd definitely recommend that, and it seems to be growing at the moment.
It's definitely a hidden gem, and it's at the top of my European bucket list actually, because I'm like, over the years I've learned a little bit more, and I'm to the point where I'm really like, okay, I need to get myself to Slovenia because it just sounds amazing.
Absolutely. Even doing like 2 weeks there, there's just so much to do. It's more like a relaxed place to go to as well, rather than, busy, skyscrapers, anything like that. So, it's definitely a place I want to go again for a visit. So, recommend it.
And if you could make any hotel a home, where would it be?
So we spoke about this last night, actually. So on a fam trip, we went to Sardinia last year. And we stayed at Fort Village. So it's quite new, actually. It only opened a few years ago. They did a really big refurb. And as you know, with fam trips, you stay in the most glamorous of places. And got picked up, went to the hotel, checked in, had this buggy pick me up, and he started driving. I was like, my room would just be like a nice standard room. And he dropped me off, and it was this massive villa with my own pool, jacuzzi. And I said, am I sharing that with people? He said, no, madam, this is your villa to yourself. And I just couldn't quite believe it in front of me. I had this whole place to myself. It had a living room, bedroom, kitchen. And I just thought, wow, if I'm experiencing this, imagine doing this for your clients, what you can give them. And the hotel was it was beautiful. I mean, you had everything on site from the spa, there was about 7 pools, there was go-karting as well, which I probably won't do again because I wasn't the best, so we'll leave that in Sardinia. But there were so many activities there to do as well, which I think's really crucial with hotels and resorts, is try and find activities to do inside the complex rather than telling people, go here, because some people like to have a bit more of a chilled holiday and have everything on site in the hotel. And with the restaurants, there was 10 different restaurants. So you can have sushi if you want, Italian, you could pick and choose what you want. So that was an experience, to say at least. So,
I think the resort ethos and being able to do everything on resort can sometimes be overlooked and underappreciated. But actually, there's a lot of value in it. And yes, you want to experience the destination, but being able to have different restaurant choices, being able to do different things in resort is actually also. There's a lot of value to that.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And I think as well, Sardinia is it's a small place at the moment, so I think it's definitely growing. We stayed in the south of Sardinia, and it's almost that island that gets forgotten because people don't realise it's actually part of Italy. So building these big resorts and complexes, it's just going to keep growing the country. So yeah, definitely a place I want to revisit as well. I've got so many places I need to revisit. Yeah. So
my cousins are getting married in Sardinia later on this year, so it'll be my first time experiencing the island. But you're right, it does kind of get forgotten. You've got Sicily, you've got the Amalfi Coast, and then Sardinia just kind of
gets hidden.
But it is that gem in the Mediterranean, I think.
Yeah, it's only like 2 hours away as well on a flight, so perfect for incentive groups.
I think what makes Canada different from other incentive destinations is simply how vast and diverse Canada is. I love the accessibility, cultural diversity, and the ability to create a truly authentic experience. If people want a city vibe, Canada can provide that. If you have adventurers, there is absolutely something here.
My most memorable moment was definitely the kayaking experience. The elements and the conditions were something that I have never experienced anywhere in the world. It was magnificent.
We had this amazing immersive cultural experience. We were looking for mushrooms and for herbs and talking about sustainability. We were listening to music, hearing stories of fishing. It was undescribable how awesome that was.
The next part of the podcast is reimagine. So, you've talked about all these kind of client incentives that you've done over the years, but I want you to picture an incentive for yourself. Where would you go? What would you do? And which celebrity would you have with you?
Oh, very good question. So I think, and my future mother-in-law and father-in-law are actually doing this right now, so they're living my incentive dream. So they've actually gone 4 weeks to South America. So I don't think I'd do it for the 4 weeks due to obviously incentive groups. Usually it's about a week or two max, but I think I'd take them on a bit of a roller coaster of different areas. So I'd take them to Brazil. I'd take them into the jungle, so to go to the Amazon rainforest experience, stay in like a treetop experience. And as you know, I'm all into all my exercise and hiking and stuff. So I think I'd want to take them to like the Machu Picchu, do like the whole experience there, and kind of getting to know the culture, because I think that's such a fundamental thing when you go on these trips, that you're not just there to have a drink or to socialise. You actually want to get involved with the culture of the country. So, taking them to the temples, for example, or the different trail routes that they do. So, yeah, I think that would definitely be a place. Also, like the ice bashing, so down in Antarctica, where you take one of the ships, you go down, and I think that would just be an absolutely incredible experience. Nice. Not sure what the budget would be, but I think...
It's all right, there's no budget limitations.
No budget,
here.
right.
You
we'll
want
take
to
them
do
4 weeks.
Brazil and then Peru and then Argentina and then Antarctica, you do it.
That's it. So, but I think it'd be a small incentive group. I think you'd have to have kind of like minimum 10, maximum 20, just because it's a small bespoke group. But I think that'd be more about adventure, thrill, culture, and not forgetting Mexican food as well, which is great. So.
And which celebrity would you bring with you?
So I think for something like this, I'd need someone like, I don't know, like Bear Grylls or Steve Batchelor just to help me in the jungle. But to be quite frankly honest, I absolutely love Jodie Comer from Killing Eve.
Yes.
She's an absolute icon. In Killing Eve, the amount of accents that she can do in different languages, and I think I'd just want to learn, her skills and her capabilities. And I think she's a great role model, especially for the younger generations as well. So just to have her there, especially if she was being Villanelle in her character, I mean, she'd get me through the jungle perfectly. So yeah, she would keep me occupied. So.
Do you know what? I can almost say that I actually went on an incentive with Jodie Comer.
Stop it.
And by that, I mean, we were checking in to go on this fam trip or something, and she was stood right in front of me, but I didn't know. And then it was only afterwards that everyone was like, oh my God, that was Jodie Comer. And I was like, wait, what? And they were like, she was standing right next to you. And I was like, oh. And they was like, do you reckon she's got on the same plane as us? So in my head, I like to assume and imagine that she flew with us, got to the same place, stayed in the same hotel, and technically did an incentive with Jodie Comer, but I didn't even know she was there. So.
Oh my goodness, that would be like hell for me if I realised it was actually her and I didn't say hello to her or get a signature. Oh my goodness.
I know, I've let you down, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
The penultimate part of the podcast is reform. So this is an opportunity for you to write a letter to the industry. What would your letter be?
So I actually got 2 letters, if that's okay. I think firstly is be remembered for in the right way. And what I say about that is, as we know in the event industry, it can get very stressful, especially when you're on site as a project manager, you're having to deal with different suppliers, different clients, different teams. And I always try and stay positive in them situations because essentially you are a leader and people are following your footsteps, especially the young generations as well. So, if you stay positive, your whole team morale stays positive. As soon as you break out of that, or you snap at someone, or you show your stress, then everyone else in that group will also fall. So I think keeping positive, even though you're obviously stressed in those situations, it just makes the job easier, I think. And what I've noticed when I work with certain teams that are staying positive, motivated, and we all want to strive for the best, the job's done so much better, and clients actually feedback on us saying, oh, your team worked really well, team collaboration, it's all about, being together and being in a community sense. And a sort of family as well, I suppose, because you're essentially with those people for, let's say, you really go on one of these incentives, you're with that group of people for that week or, the pre-work, the post-work, you're with them for that full duration. So I think, just being positive and being kind to people is really, really important in the event industry. And secondly, I think just getting yourself out there, networking. I was, when I was 16, doing loads of voluntary work. I was attending the NEC events all the time. I was sponsoring for doing the marathon races, turning up to those, supporting where I could. And, I didn't really have a life at the weekends. I was just doing all this experience. But I think that's how it's helped my confidence right now and where I am. I did university as well, which was a help. But if it wasn't for doing that experience at a young age, I wouldn't be here where I am at the moment. And I think you've just got to take every opportunity. I remember my first fam trip. I was so nervous. I was on the flight on my own. I didn't know anyone. I was shaking. And I was just like, why am I doing this? And I came out of that fam trip a different person because you meet so many industry experts, friends, and, people that you'll speak to for the rest of your life. Even coming on this podcast today, I was like, this is out of my comfort zone. But being here now, I'm glad I've done it. And that's what I'd probably say to the kind of younger generations especially. Do that thing, even if you really don't want to do it, because it's just going to help so much in the future. So they're my 2 letters, if that's okay.
I mean, they do link in terms of getting out there and then also being positive. And I think you have quite literally practiced what you preach, which I really like. But, from being away with you in the UAE and nearly a week together, I can safely say that you do have a very positive energy. And I think that it's such a game changer, and it's infectious, and I think it does make people, it does give a completely different perception, and things go wrong all the time, and I think being calm and positive, right, okay, what can we do? Let's think about this. There's opportunity here. Is so different to when someone kind of explodes or bubbles over or whatever, and it's an art and it's a gift, and it's not easy for everybody, but I think it does really make a difference. And
absolutely, and people remember you then in the right frame. People aren't going to remember all the hours you did, how late you stayed up. People are going to remember you for what you taught them, how you were in certain situations, how kind you were to them. And the event industry, it's so big, but it's so small. So people start, talking about people, and I think it's just important just to stay positive and kind to people. So
the last part of the podcast is a quick fire round. So I'm going to ask you a couple of quick fire questions. Packing, last minute or week before?
Very last minute. Event planner.
Love that very last minute as well.
Very literally, my flight will be taken off in 2 hours, and in that 5 minutes before I will be, what can I pack?
We are the same person.
I knew it.
Yeah. Carry on or check in?
Oh, depends on whose budget. If it's a client's budget, then take on, and then if I'm on my own, then it's cheap option as much as possible.
Yeah. Airport lounge or shopping?
Airport lounge. Definitely. For the free food and drinks, definitely, yeah.
I like that. You're being very economical with your answers. You're like, right, how can we do this? Aisle or window?
Window. Just solely because I'm that person that can fall asleep for the full duration. So if I've got something to lie on, whereas if I'm in the aisle, it's not a pretty sight, is it, if you're lying with your mouth open? So
That literally happened to me recently. It was quite an empty flight, and there was someone sat on the aisle, and she had like all of the gear, you know, eye cover and thing, but mouth wide open catching flies.
No.
And I caught myself doing the same thing, and I sort of woke up, and then I looked around and saw her, and I was like, oh, phew, we're in the same boat. No one else has seen us.
Was it me?
Yeah. City or nature?
Nature, 100%. Yeah, I'm a nature girl. Yeah, always.
Amazon
always.
rainforest.
Yeah, exactly.
Lay in or early start?
Early start. I'm an early bird. People think I've got problems. I'm my friends. So I get up usually at like 5 a.m. And my friends are like, you need to get a life. But then I'll be asleep by like 9 p.m. So early bird.
Poolside or seaside?
Oh, poolside, just because the sand. I can't deal with all the sand when it's in your toes. So definitely pool. Yeah,
The
definitely.
sand is the make or break for people, I think.
Yeah.
They always opt for pool if they don't like the sand. Planned or spontaneous?
Oh, planned. Event planner though, aren't I? I have to have everything planned. Yeah.
Breakfast hot or cold?
Oh, hot. Cold breakfast. What's that? Like,
I love that you like, I don't even know what that is.
yeah, like continental or something. Oh,
Yeah.
no, definitely hot.
And finally, hotel, room service or restaurant?
Restaurant, yeah. I think room service novelty is lovely, but the fact is that you're there on your own, eating it in your bed. So I like to get out, I like to get dressed up, go for some drinks. So yeah, the restaurant, definitely.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast and bringing your positive energy to it.
Thank you for having me, Callum. It's been great catching up.